just as I finished an advanced professional training program arranged by a major corporation. I received a notice of termination. Only then did I realize it had all been a trap, one carefully laid by corporate interests to push me out. And the irony was, I wasn't some expendable newcomer. I was one of the company's senior employees. So much for loyalty. Anger surged through me, and on impulse, I moved my overseas travel plans forward. The moment I boarded the plane, my phone buzzed with a message from my boss. "This task, no one else can handle it. You need to submit it immediately." I laughed out loud. "You already let me go. And now you still expect me to keep working for you?" On a sudden streak of recklessness, I replied with a curt, "Received," then blocked him on the spot. Let him wait, as long as he wanted. That was when I heard a sweet female voice drift from the row ahead. "I told you, she definitely has feelings for you. Even after resigning, she still won't forget to finish your work." No matter how I listened to it, it sounded like they were talking about me. Curious, I glanced forward. And froze. Sitting right there was my boss, Ji Yan. He was chatting with the woman beside him, unmistakable smugness in his eyes. "Of course," he said casually, "Shen Yan always listens to me. But baby, the one I truly love is you." The two of them laughed together, intimate and carefree. My mind felt like it had shrunk to nothing. So this was it. I had been turned into nothing more than a pawn in their little romantic game. Now everything made sense. The woman beside Ji Yan had mistaken me for a potential threat. To eliminate me, she convinced him to fire me. As for Ji Yan, he pretended to send me off for advanced training at a major company, when in reality he was just setting up an excuse to let me go. I had sensed something was off. The project had been extremely urgent, yet that day, he had specifically called me into his office. The moment I stepped in, he looked serious, almost ceremonious. "Shen Yan," he said, "your technical ability is the strongest in the team. That's beyond doubt. The company is currently cooperating with a well-known firm on a training program. I plan to send you there to study, learn thoroughly, then come back and continue contributing." I had been completely stunned. "Boss, are you sure this is the right timing? What about the project? When the schedule falls behind, are you planning to call me back to clean up the mess?" Ji Yan waved his hand dismissively. "I've decided, just do it." That decisive tone only made me feel more uneasy. After all, Ji Yan and I had worked together for years. Ever since graduation, we had built the company side by side. He handled management. I handled technology, from a small workshop to what it was today. Normally, he was polite with me, rarely so domineering. But now, wasn't this the very definition of crossing the bridge and pulling it up behind him? Just as I was about to question him further, his phone rang. Ji Yan answered instantly, his voice softening at once. "Baby, don't worry, I've prepared everything, plane tickets, hotel, the beach. All you need to do is step out looking beautiful." Watching him speak so tenderly into the phone, I stared in disbelief. After all these years of working together, I had never paid attention to his private life. I never imagined that behind the scenes, he was this deeply entangled in romance. What made it worse was that, seeing me still standing there, Ji Yan snapped irritably. "Can't you see I'm busy? Get out." I had no choice but to leave the office and begin preparing for the training program. But once I actually arrived, my perspective changed completely. The major corporation truly lived up to its reputation. Its accumulated technical foundation was no joke. I learned an incredible amount, gradually resolved many long-standing project issues, and even connected with several elite professionals in the field. By the time the program ended, I still felt unsatisfied. Just thinking about pushing the project forward filled me with excitement. Carrying that enthusiasm, I boarded the high-speed train back to the company. Then, midway through the journey, I received the termination notice. I froze. What? I had only gone away to study. And now I was already out of a job? Was Ji Yan really planning to discard me once I'd done my part? If he had found a replacement, the least he could have done was talk to me face to face. Not this, decision made. Notice delivered, approach. Was there no respect left at all? So angry I could barely breathe. I rushed straight to the company the moment I got off the train. The moment I stepped inside, my heart sank. My desk was completely cleared. My technical books, my keyboard, even my mug, everything was stuffed into cardboard boxes, already coated with a thin layer of dust. This hadn't been done overnight. Lin Jia from HR saw me and sneered. "Oh, Shen Yan, you're back? Perfect timing. Sign here and you can take your things and go." I stared at her in disbelief. We hadn't been on bad terms. When her child was preparing for school and she needed to buy a home in a good district, I had even introduced her to a reliable real estate agent. Now that I was leaving, she turned on me without hesitation. Holding back the storm of emotions inside me, I followed her into the office. She slammed the resignation agreement onto the desk. One glance, and I almost laughed from anger. "Lin Jia, did you draft this yourself? Or is this Ji Yan's idea?" She replied flatly, "Why does it matter? Sign it and leave." I gave a cold laugh. "I worked here for 6 years. At minimum, I'm entitled to 3 months' compensation. Why is there only 1? And you're the ones terminating me, so why does this document say I resigned voluntarily for personal reasons?" Has Ji Yan completely lost his sense of shame? The more I spoke, the angrier I became. 6 years of effort felt utterly wasted. Lin Jia merely smiled faintly, as if she'd heard the most ridiculous joke. "Shen Yan, do you really think you hid it well? The boss already told us everything." I frowned. "Told you what?" Her eyes were full of disdain. "She said you only got where you are because of a special relationship with the boss. That you refused to leave because you wanted to cling to him and rise higher. That every time you went into his office, it was to entice him. Well, who would have thought? Shen Yan, you really planned far ahead." I went completely still. Those things had never existed. Not even once. Now I understood why my colleagues' looks felt so strange when I returned. Ji Yan had spread rumors behind my back. When had I ever harassed him? Did simply existing count as something improper now? At that moment, I realized something clearly. Working with him was the biggest stain of my life. I picked up the agreement and said coldly, "I won't be signing this. This matter isn't over. Don't contact me again. Have your lawyer speak to mine." Without sparing Lin Jia another glance, I turned and walked out. Fortunately, before entering, I had recorded the entire conversation on my phone. That alone was enough to give Ji Yan a serious headache. Even after returning home, my emotions wouldn't settle. After thinking it over, I decided to move my long-delayed trip forward. I had postponed it countless times for the sake of the project. Now I had nothing but time. I almost felt like thanking Ji Yan. Then, just as the plane took off, my phone lit up again. "Shen Yan, where are you? No one on the team will take this task. They say only you can do it. Submit it immediately. Don't drag this out." Only then did I remember, I'd forgotten to block him yesterday. But what exactly was Ji Yan thinking? I had already left. And he still expected me to work for him? Did he seriously think I was some kind of tireless machine, running endlessly on an invisible power source? I replied bluntly, "I've already left the company. Don't contact me again." Just as I was about to block his number, another message came through. "So what if you've resigned? That doesn't mean you can't finish the work. Stop making trouble and get it done." I actually laughed. Who, exactly, was the one making trouble here? I had spent years working alongside him, and now he was borrowing every cold, calculating tactic he'd learned from corporate culture, and using them on me. At first, I didn't even want to respond. But in that moment, the urge to strike back took over. I sent a single word, received, and blocked him immediately. Let him wait. Not long after, I overheard the conversation between Ji Yuyan and his girlfriend. So this was how they wanted to play it. Fine. Quietly, I took out my phone and recorded everything. Evidence is never excessive. After landing, I deliberately avoided Ji Yuyan, went straight to the hotel, and sent all the recordings and materials to my lawyer. He assured me calmly that Ji Yuyan would pay dearly for this. I was very satisfied with his confidence. After that, I finally allowed myself to enjoy my vacation. What I didn't expect was that Ji Yuyan was staying at the very same resort. I was heading out shopping when I turned a corner and nearly ran into him. Before I could even recognize him, he blurted out in shock. "Shen Yan, are you following me?" The sheer shamelessness made my mind go blank for a second. His girlfriend immediately jumped in, her tone sharp and cutting. "Look at that, she even chased you all the way here. I told you we should have gotten rid of her earlier." That was the breaking point. I had worked myself to the bone for years, only to be forced out under false pretenses. And now, on top of everything, they dared to insult my dignity, my judgment, my very presence. I pointed straight at Ji Yuyan and said loudly, "Ji Yuyan, take a good look at yourself. You think someone would lose their senses over you? You flatter yourself. The idea that I'd follow you anywhere is absurd. Even the past deserves better than that." I turned to leave, my chest heavy. But Ji Yuyan suddenly grabbed my wrist. His face dark, his voice low and threatening. "Where do you think you're going? The documents, I still haven't gotten them from you." He tightened his grip. His girlfriend stood to the side, smiling sweetly, adding fuel to the fire. "Oh, still pretending to be above it all? Playing hard to get now? You're really good at this act." I flung his hand away with all my strength. He stumbled back, nearly losing his balance. The lingering sensation on my fingertips made me nauseous. "President Gu," I said coldly, "open your eyes. Do you want me to put my resignation letter right in front of you?" "That work? Ask your technical department." Ji Yuyan's face flushed, his voice rising uncontrollably. "Don't push your luck. The company supported you all these years, trained you from nothing. And now you won't even help with one last thing? Do you have no conscience at all? Supported me?" Those words burned in my ears. "Ji Yuyan," I said slowly, "are you confused, or are you simply refusing to remember? Who held that technical department together? Who worked night after night on those projects? Without me, your company wouldn't have lasted this long. And now you're talking as if you were doing me a favor. Have some dignity." I didn't bother looking at his twisted expression anymore. I took out my phone and tapped into a recording I had saved carefully. "President Gu, if your hearing still works, listen closely. Listen to what you yourself said." I pressed play. From the speaker came Ji Yuyan's voice, self-satisfied, indulgent. "Shen Yan listens to me very well. But baby, you're the one I love the most." Then came the woman's soft laughter, followed by his flirtatious replies. The recording struck him like an invisible blow. His smug expression froze, then shattered, his face drained of color, eyes wide with disbelief. His girlfriend reacted even faster, screaming, lunging toward me, nails aimed straight at my phone. "You recorded us? Delete it, now." I was already prepared. I sidestepped her clumsy attempt easily. My fingers moved swiftly across the screen, sending the recording directly into the company group chat. I looked up at their pale faces and spoke calmly, my voice carrying clearly through the lazy noon air of the resort. "Everyone, listen carefully. This is the true face of the good boss you trusted so completely." I turned and walked away. My heels struck the polished tiles in sharp, steady rhythm. Behind me came Ji Yuyan's furious, unrestrained shouting, like an animal exposed, desperate and enraged. "Shen Yan, this isn't over." But the sunlight, the ocean, the joy of shopping, all of it had lost its meaning. My vacation was over. I went straight to the hotel desk and changed my ticket to the earliest possible flight home. I didn't want to spend another second in that place. The moment I landed, I called my lawyer. The evidence was airtight: recordings, messages, the unreasonable termination contract, and documents proving my central role in the company's projects. On the other end, my lawyer's voice was steady and assured. Malicious termination, defamation, labor compensation violations, everything applies. Ms. Shen, prepare to file suit. A week later, the news spread rapidly. Lin Jia, the HR manager who had mocked me, rarely reached out. But this time she sent me a message. Shen Yan, you really went all in. That recording blew up the company chat. Core technical staff resigned the same day. Ji Yan's new project is completely stalled. Clients are showing up daily, shouting, slamming desks. He's losing it, calling everyone non-stop. People say his voice is nearly gone. She sent a long voice message. I didn't bother listening. I replied with a single word, okay. My finger paused over a once familiar name, now glaringly unpleasant. Ji Yan. Missed calls filled the screen. Expressionless, I added the number to my block list. The world went quiet. Then the doorbell rang, urgent, repeated, impatient. I frowned, set my papers down, and looked through the peephole. Two figures stood outside. Ji Yan and his father. Ji Mingyuan, whom I'd only ever seen in polished company photos. Always the picture of dignity. I took a breath and opened the door. Ji Yan stood half a step behind his father. Head lowered, hair disheveled, suit wrinkled, none of his former authority left. He looked like someone who had lost badly. Ji Mingyuan's carefully maintained face was now filled with a smile so eager it bordered on pleading. Xiao Shen, he said softly, with forced familiarity, it's been a while. Our family, we've had terrible luck. He's young, impulsive, acted without restraint. I'm apologizing on his behalf. He elbowed Ji Yan sharply. Ji Yan stumbled forward, lifted his head, his expression conflicted. His lips moved before he finally managed a weak. I'm sorry. I watched their performance with cold detachment. 6 years of partnership? I interrupted calmly, my voice flat and steady. You mean the years in which your son spread lies about me, withheld my rightful compensation, and discarded me without hesitation? Ji Mingyuan's smile cracked. Mr. Ji, I continued evenly, respect works both ways. Your son fabricated accusations, damaged my reputation, and tried to use an unlawful contract to deny my compensation. This wasn't recklessness, it was deliberate harm. This isn't over. The color drained from his face. He stepped forward urgently. We'll pay triple the compensation. Immediately, please, our company can't survive without you. Only you can save that project. There are employees waiting for their salaries. Please, I'm asking you. His voice trembled. I looked at them and said quietly. Too late. The words fell like a final verdict, heavy, irreversible. Under their stunned gazes, I calmly took my phone out of my coat pocket. After unlocking the screen, I quickly swiped to my email inbox and stopped at the preview of a message I had already sent. The recipient line was painfully clear. National Tax Authority. The subject line was even more eye-catching. Report of serious tax evasion by Mingyuan Company. With supporting evidence attached. I slowly turned the screen toward Ji Yan and his father. Ji Mingyuan's pupils constricted violently the moment he saw it. His eyes locking onto the screen as if glued there. His face turned paper white in an instant, as though all the blood had drained from it. It was as if his spine had been ripped out. He staggered backward, collapsing against the cold wall, lips trembling uncontrollably, yet unable to utter a single sound. Ji Yan's reaction was even more obvious. The moment he saw the screen, his whole body shook violently, his eyes turning completely hollow. A beast. The suffocating silence lasted no more than 2 seconds before Jiyu Mingyuan suddenly let out a hoarse scream. His voice tearing apart. He spun around and swung his arm with all his strength, slapping Jiyu Yan across the face like a man who had lost his soul. Smack! The sharp sound echoed through the corridor. The force was so great that Jiyu Yan staggered sideways, his glasses flying off his face, smashing against the wall before shattering on the floor. A thin line of blood immediately trickled down from the corner of his mouth. My company, you've destroyed it. You've destroyed everything. Jiyu Mingyuan's voice twisted into nothing but shrill, desperate cries. I stood there coldly, watching the farce unfold. Watching Jiyu Yan clutch his face, stunned, leaning helplessly against the wall. Watching his father rage like a wild beast. With that resounding slap, the last trace of hesitation and pity in my heart vanished completely. Click. I closed the door. All the madness and despair were shut outside. The hoarse screams and sobbing gradually faded into muffled noise behind the door. 3 months later, news of Mingyuan Technology officially declaring bankruptcy and entering liquidation appeared on the front page of the local financial section. Crushing debts and staggering tax penalties finally sank that hole-ridden ship beyond recovery. I accepted an offer from the largest competitor in the industry, taking the position of Chief Technology Officer. My annual salary was 3 times higher than the empty promises Jiyu Yan had once painted for me. In my spacious, sunlit office, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the brilliantly lit city skyline. My phone vibrated softly. It was a message from Lin, her tone unusually flattering. Director Shen, karma really hit hard. Jiyu Yan's girlfriend ran off the moment she heard he went bankrupt, taking whatever valuables she could. Someone spotted him delivering food in the west side of the city, wearing a cheap yellow uniform, sweating under the sun. Apparently, he even got scolded by customers for being late. It's miserable. I merely glanced at the message and swiped to delete it. Jiyu Yan's misery wasn't even worth casual gossip. My real battlefield was the massive screen in front of me. As the new CTO, I had taken over the company's most critical and most challenging core project. Abundant resources, an elite technical team, a top-tier working environment. Everything pointed to one undeniable truth. Leaving the swamp called Jiyu Yan was the best decision of my life. The crisp sound of keyboard tapping filled the room as lines of code flowed effortlessly across the screen. A knock came at the office door. Come in. My assistant, Xiao Zhang, peeked inside, her expression slightly awkward. Director Shen, reception says someone insists on seeing you. Who? I didn't look up, my fingers still flying across the keyboard. He says his name is Jiyu Yan. My typing stopped. I slowly raised my head, one eyebrow lifting. Bankruptcy and liquidation weren't enough. What did he want now? Beg forgiveness? Or refuse to accept reality? Tell him I'm busy, I said calmly. I don't have time. Seeing him would be a waste of time and energy. Xiao Zhang hesitated. He said it's something very important about his father. For a brief moment, a faint ripple of curiosity surfaced, like a bubble rising from the bottom of a lake, then was instantly crushed by icy stillness. No meeting, I said decisively. Have security escort him out. If he causes trouble, call the police. Yes, Director Shen. The door closed. Silence returned. I lifted my coffee cup and took a sip. The rich bitterness washed away the last trace of disturbance. Jiyu Yan, and everything related to him, had long since become trash at the bottom of the sea. Not worth even a second of my attention. I quickly returned to work at full efficiency. When I finally got off work, golden sunset light flooded the office through the glass walls. I stretched my neck after a long, intense day. My phone lit up with a name and a simple meeting location. It was an investor I'd been working with recently, calm, insightful, and most importantly, Someone who truly valued my expertise and ability. As I stepped out of the company's grand building, a sleek black sedan pulled up smoothly and stopped in front of me. The window rolled down, revealing Mr. Chu's gentle face and polite smile. "Director Shen, please." I smiled back and was about to open the car door. "Shen Yan." A hoarse, twisted shout suddenly rang out behind me, scraping the air like sandpaper against glass. I froze and turned around. From the shade of the trees across the street, a figure in a cheap yellow uniform suddenly rushed out. Greasy, tangled hair, patchy stubble, a sallow face from chronic lack of sleep, bloodshot eyes filled with hatred. It was Ji Yan. He charged recklessly through traffic, screaming hysterically. "Shen Yan, you vicious woman, you ruined me, you destroyed my father. You think you'll get away with this? You think clinging to someone powerful makes you clean now?" I looked at him quietly, expressionless. Only a few months had passed, yet the once well-dressed, arrogant Ji Yan had been ground down by life into a bitter, violent failure. "Security," I said softly, without even raising my voice. Two well-trained guards rushed out almost instantly. Seeing them approach, fear flickered in Ji Yan's eyes, but it was quickly swallowed by rage. He swung his fists wildly, struggling and hurling filthy insults. "Get away from me, you dogs. Shen Yan, you're scared, aren't you? You don't dare face me." His resistance was laughably weak. In less than 10 seconds, he was restrained, arms locked behind him like a captured chicken, flailing helplessly. "Director Shen, are you all right?" the security captain asked. "I'm fine," I replied calmly. "This man is causing a disturbance. Handle it according to protocol. Call the police if necessary." "Yes, ma'am." Ji Yan was dragged toward the security office, still screaming and struggling, his curses soon muffled by a hand over his mouth. I turned back to Mr. Chu with an apologetic smile. "Sorry about that." Mr. Chu looked completely unfazed, as if a mosquito had just been brushed away. "I understand your capability and character, Director Shen," he said warmly. "Unimportant people aren't worth your attention. Please, get in, the restaurant is waiting." "Thank you." I got into the passenger seat gracefully. The soft leather hugged my body, the faint woody scent isolating us completely from the dust and chaos outside. The car glided smoothly into traffic. City lights streaked past the window like shooting stars. I glanced once more at the building behind us. The shabby yellow figure was already gone, along with his curses, crushed and swallowed by the massive machinery of the city. A faint, cold smile flickered across my lips. Ji Yan had long been thrown into the trash heap called the past. Not even worthy of being a stepping stone. Ahead lay brightly lit restaurants, new projects filled with challenge and opportunity, and a vast world I had earned step by step with my own ability. That was what truly deserved my focus. I turned to Mr. Chu. "Regarding the funding plan for the next phase of the project," I said calmly and attentively, "I have a few new ideas. I'd like to hear your thoughts." Inside the car, professional and relaxed conversation resumed, completely erasing the trivial farce that had just occurred. The wheels rolled steadily forward, crushing the past beneath them, heading straight toward a future worth anticipating. That's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to China Story Tales, and stay tuned for more stories.